This case goes back generations. Every agent who's tried to solve it has crashed and burned. The case is actually a case, or a box. A box so valuable that wars have been fought over it. Countless people have been murdered to obtain it. Everywhere it goes, death and destruction follow. If you have the case, you must give it to the person you hate the most. Otherwise, the person you love the most will take possession. If you open it, you die. You have 3 days. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It is Wednesday, new comic book day. Dark Horse Comics here with cats, also in and out, as usual. Or, sometimes we have dog guests too. If you tune in regularly, last week we had a dog guest, Dan Shaban's Shiba Inu, who also guest stars in upcoming comic series Beasts of Burden by Evan Dorkin, of course, and Benjamin Dewey, starring a Shiba Inu modeled after editor's dogator in chief or something. A dogter. Anyway, I'm Kara. I work for Dark Horse. I am here every week with the new comic book day rundown and all of our other, guests, special guests, live arts, interviews, fun things that we try to do for you all while we are at home during the pandemic quarantine, especially. And I am excited to welcome back this week my coworker Brett. Hi, Brett.
Hello.
Brett is an editor at Dark Horse also.
Yeah, sorry.
Tell us about your cat.
Yeah, he's having a good time right now, apparently. Sprinting around our house. So
feeling spring-like.
Yes, exactly.
You have sun for once, it's back. We, as you folks at home may have heard, we here in the Pacific Northwest recently had a big winter ice and snow storm, which knocked out Dark Horse's power and servers and things. So we fell a bit behind while we were without connections, and we are catching up. So thanks for joining us. I know we're streaming a little bit earlier again this week than we normally do. We've had to kind of adjust some things around as we all get caught back up, but we're glad to be back. Thanks for bearing with us while we took a break due to those outages, and we'll probably have some more pet cameos throughout the stream today. Rex usually wakes up after he hears me talking for a while, so fans of Rex, I'm sure he'll appear before long. Right now he's sleeping in a sunbeam, so don't worry, he's fine. You also have another cat and a dog, so I don't know, Brett, maybe we'll have some more animal cats.
It could appear. Who knows?
To help us present some comics today. But yeah, so it's Wednesday, which means new comic book day. New comics are arriving in comic shops everywhere. We are going to talk about the new releases this week and also some news and announcements, which we have had a lot of, as ever. I want to remind folks that we will once again be doing a giveaway here on the stream today. So if you're joining us in the live chat, the giveaway is going to open now. And you just need to type the keyword, which today is flimflams, FLIMFLAMS. You do not need to use a pound sign or hashtag flimflams. That's been announced in the chat. The prize is, as usual, a copy of each of the single issues we're going to talk about today, including Dead Dog's Fight #1, which is where the keyword comes from. And I'm going to make Brett explain it to you in a little bit. So giveaway is open. Flimflams is the keyword. Enter that in the chat if you are viewing live right now, and we will draw a winner near the end of the stream. And that's about it for the giveaway. We can ship internationally, just some of the usual places are excluded, like Quebec, unfortunately, wherever we can ship to. So go ahead and enter that now and throughout the stream. I'm going to turn it over to Brett to let y'all know where you can buy the comics and books we're going to talk about today.
Yes, so everything we talk about today, all the books we talk about today could be purchased at a comic book shop or a bookstore. In these times that we are living in, we would definitely encourage you to shop locally. A lot of stores like Powell's out here and a bunch of comic stores out here are doing, you can order online, they do like curbside stuff. They all the methods to get you books. So definitely encourage that. Yeah. And you can find them on comicshoplocator.com. I'm the worst and missed it, and indiebound.org.
Yes. Yeah, I know a lot of folks are newer to comics who have tuned into these streams. So I like to remind folks too that you can subscribe to most comic series if you are interested in making sure that you get every single issue, and also variant covers. If you're newer to comics, you might not know about those. It's a pretty common thing and we're going to show you some of these today. Single issues will often have different covers by different artists. And so for Umbrella Academy, for example, there are 3 covers for each issue. It can be a little confusing if you're newer to the world of comics. And if you want to make sure, if you really like one in particular, it's by one of your favorite artists or something, just check with your comic shop and they can order that one specifically for you and set up a subscription if you want to make sure that you get every single one, every specific one that you want. Just ask them about subscriptions or poll boxes and things like that. So yeah, we are going to get into our new releases in a bit. I do have to update once again on so the inclement weather, the winter storms I mentioned, that has caused a lot of additional shipping delays, unfortunately. So we're trying to stay on top of this. We're getting new updates kind of all the time. So we will continue to keep our website updated, darkhorse.com, for you. And also our social media will continue to share when books are available. But for books and graphic novels in particular, rather than single issues, these have been delayed getting to Diamond, which is the comics distributor. So you may see, like, folks who have ordered things on sites like Amazon or your local bookstores, you may already be getting some graphic novels that will be arriving a bit later at comic shops due to those shipping delays. And it really depends on the book. They're a bit all over the place. Post York on Burger Books, for example, that's going to be coming out a little later this month. That's been updated to March 10th in the comics market, and I believe March 16th in the book market. Again, we'll keep updating our website and socials for those. But it'll get to you as soon as it arrives off the boat, literally. So stay tuned for that. Also, Emily the Strange, the new collection in paperback, that's another one that's been delayed. It's available to order from their website, also emilythestrange.com, so you can check that out. Those are just a couple of examples. But if you look at darkhorse.com also, you'll see that our upcoming weeks in March are going to be very heavy with releases in comic shops in particular, March 10th, March 16th, and March 24th. Go take a look at those upcoming dates and see all of the books that have now been kind of moved back a little bit for those shipping delays, in addition to all our new single issues. Other books that have been affected, if you're waiting on them, are Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Rift Omnibus trade paperback, Disney Tangled, the story of the movie and comics, Art of the Mass Effect Trilogy Expanded Edition, World of Black Hammer Library Edition Volume 2, and there are a few others. As I said, we're getting new news all the time, so just keep checking back on our website, and you might get a nice surprise in your mail if you pre-ordered something. So stay tuned, and thanks for your patience. Unfortunately, like I said, the winter weather has just delayed shipping and kind of shut down some ports for a while, so they're catching up as fast as they can. And that said, let's get on to news and announcements. We have had quite a few new things drop even since last week. So keep an eye on our website as ever, and we're going to run through a few of the most recent news pieces for you. For Avatar fans, in case you missed it somehow, new Avatar series has been announced. We're really excited to be able to talk about this at last. Dark Horse and Nickelodeon are still working together, going strong. And you might have seen the recent announcement of Avatar Studios. Mike and Brian are back. So that's a big announcement that I know Nickelodeon's been working on getting out for a while. So we're excited to continue working with Nick Animation, Mike and Brian in the new Avatar Studios to continue to tell all kinds of stories in the Avatar and Korra world. Our new book line is going to be an all ages chibi series, beginning with Avatar, The Last Airbender, Aang's Unfreezing Day, which is very cute. When Aang was frozen in an iceberg for 100 years, he managed to forget his birthday. Luckily, his friends Katara, Toph, Sokka, and Zuko plan to surprise him with a new special day to celebrate. But they'll have to be careful while they prepare. It's a surprise. And so this book is by children's author Kelly Lee Miller. You might know her from I Am a Wolf and I Love My Fangs. She's teaming up with a fan favorite artist, Diana Sim. So you'll see her work on the cover art here, and she'll be doing the interiors as well. And this series, again, is for readers of all ages, younger fans, and they're going to work together with the whole Avatar team. As always, Tim Hedrick is consulting on this particular series. So Aang's Unfreezing Day is going to arrive this September, and you can pre-order it now through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local comic shops, local bookstores, all those good places. Check it out. If you're international, yes, our books are available worldwide in English. Sometimes it takes longer for local Amazon and other bookstore sites to get things up for pre-order, but it will be coming. So stay tuned, keep checking back. And it's available for pre-order in North America right now. That's it for Avatar news for the moment. Brett, what else have we got?
Yeah, so the newest addition to the Hellboy universe, Mignolaverse, The House of Lost Horizons, Sarah Jewell Mystery #1, from Mike Mignola and Chris Roberson of all of the Witchfinder Hellboy stuff fame, and the incredible, like truly incredible artist Leila Del Duca. This is the newest Sarah Jewell story, who was seen in Rise of the Black Flame and Witchfinder Reign of Darkness. Her and her associate Marie-Therese are on a weekend trip on a private island off the coast of Washington, which goes astray. Trapped by a storm and surrounded by a myriad suspects who have gathered for an auction of occult items, the intrepid duo must unravel the supernatural mystery surrounding the guests in hopes of uncovering the murderer. I'm going to breathe now. But all the while, bodies piling up, and at any moment, Sarah Marie-Therese could be next. Classic, like, supernatural mystery stuff. If you've read either of those two series that Chris Roberson also wrote, you know that Sarah Jewell is just like a badass detective that just solves paranormal crimes, and it's great.
I love a good locked room mystery. Very what do I want? Agatha Christie.
Yes.
Wow, I'm tired.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, with Mike and Chris, the story is going to be great, and I'm really excited to see what Leila and Michelle Madsen on colors has for this book. So that is coming soon, and the cover art is by Chris Mitten, who drew Rise of the Black Flame. So he is back doing stuff as well, which is cool. So
another frequent Mignolaverse contributor.
Yeah,
a lot of Chris's.
It's true.
In the Mignolaverse.
For Mignolaverse and the Outerverse, Chris Golden. So
correct. Yeah, the Outerverse. Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. We have announced a lot of new Mignolaverse, Outerverse titles recently. Lady Baltimore, of course, we had Chris Golden and Abigail Larson on stream recently to talk about that coming up. I'm excited to see particularly some of these women characters and more women creators involved in the expansion of the Mignolaverse too. So
for sure. I mean, really cool. Abigail and Leela are like obscenely good, both of them. So I'm very excited for it. Yeah. Obscene.
Yeah. Man, I'm so excited for the stories and for the art and just to see all of this come together. And I love seeing the new contributors join in these mini series with Mike. So I don't know, I'm intrigued to see where the new installments go.
Yeah.
We also have some news. It's not strictly Dark Horse, but some exciting Mignolaverse news, or fans of Mike Mignola. There is on Kickstarter right now a documentary, the Mike Mignola documentary film. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Let me grab the Kickstarter here. It's actually already been funded. No surprise there, but it's called Drawing Monsters, The Secret Origin of Hellboy. I'm sure that many people watching our stream right now are familiar with Hellboy, probably Mike's most well-known creation. This documentary is going to include interviews with all different kinds of people that Mike has worked with over the years. You're going to hear from people like Neil Gaiman, Rebecca Sugar, who you should probably know from, Steven Universe and things. Doug Jones, Victor Laval, Guillermo del Toro, Joe Quesada, Vita Ayala, Adam Savage, Terry McPherson, Mike Richardson, of course, founder of Dark Horse, Tom Sniegoski, who's currently working with Mike on the Young Hellboy series, Katie O'Brien, who is editor on all of Mike's books at Dark Horse, Christopher Golden, who we mentioned, Chris Roberson, also mentioned, another Chris, and lots more people. There's going to be interviews and art demos also with artists like Duncan Fegredo, Michael Avon Oming, Dave Stewart, who colors everything, Jason Sean Alexander, Mike himself, of course, Mike Mignola doing some art. And if you back the Kickstarter, there are all different levels. You can get all different art pieces, signed extras, as well as the Blu-ray or digital access to the finished documentary. We are sharing all kinds of stuff across our social media. Here, let me make sure that link gets in the chat, actually. Here's the Kickstarter link if you want to back it, if you have not yet. Again, we're in very early days. This just launched this week, but it has already been backed, fully funded. However, if you want to keep unlocking those stretch goals and get some cool stuff and make sure that you get a copy of this documentary on Blu-ray or digital, make sure you back it. You can score some cool arts. Some levels are already done, but there are still, we're looking at the Duncan Fegredo piece right now. I love Duncan's work.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think this, I'm excited that Rebecca Sugar's in this documentary, because I think it's easy to miss just because of how big Hellboy is in the horror world, just like how important Mike's work is in terms of like storytelling.
yes.
So I'm excited that the world is championing that now. So
I mean, I learned something new today already from some of the interviews and the pieces that are being shared to help spread the word about this Kickstarter. Some of the news today on Polygon, for example, is Rebecca Sugar talking about how Mike's input resulted in Steven Universe's star t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil it. You should go read the article to find out how that happened. But it's true. Rebecca Sugar talked to Mike Mignola and got his advice on things like symbolism, and as a result, he had an influence on Steven Universe, which I'm sure no one probably would have guessed looking at Steven Universe.
Exactly.
I am intrigued to see what Adam Savage has to say too, from Mythbusters, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting. There have been some tidbits from the Neil Gaiman interview being shared around. So check out our social media. They've also started a Twitter account for the Mike Mignola documentary. So we'll continue sharing that news. And yeah, if you back the Kickstarter, you'll get regular updates from that too. So drop the link in the chat. This is being produced by Jim DeMonacos, who's the founder of Lightbox Expo, which is something that Mike Mignola works with pretty frequently. They show his art, and also Kevin Hanna. So this is going to be, the Kickstarter is essentially to help secure more funding to do more interviews and add more art and more bonuses to it. So that's why it's happening on Kickstarter. Go check it out, back it if you want to see even more cool stuff added to it. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes and learn other surprise pop culture influences that Mike Mignola has had.
Yes. Well, there are some other upcoming series that are coming out from us. I want to highlight two of them. First, Jenny Zero from the team of Dave Dwanch, Brockton McKinney, Magenta King, and for the first issue, colored by Megan Wang, and after that, it's colored by Dam, D-A-M, all caps.
Nice. Is
So
that
Jenny,
short for anything?
it's short for his name. I don't know if I want to say the full name because I don't know off the top of my head. So I'm sorry, everyone.
Fair enough.
So this is about Jenny Tetsuo, a hard-drinking, hard-partying daughter of beloved superhero Mega Commander Zero, who essentially saved the world from kaiju monsters. After washing out as the military's top killer, Jenny, now known as Jenny Zero, lives a very like celebutante life as an heiress and with her hotel heiress and publicist best friend, Dana Sheridan. The world is like in turmoil all of a sudden. The monsters are coming back. So Jenny is called back from her life of hard partying, basically, to save the world once again. But as you'll see in the first issue, things don't work out super well for Jenny. If you love kaiju stuff and like crazy kaiju art, like weird like weapon appendage things happening, you'll definitely want to check this out. Jenny Zero #1, 4-issue miniseries available April 14th. It's available for pre-order now at your local comic store. It's great, and I'm not just saying that because I edited the book. Also coming out, super excited for Renegade Rule. Also, you can pre-order this wherever books and comics are sold. It's an OGN from the Ignatz nominated writer Ben Kahn, debut author Rachel Silverstein, and artist Sam Beck. This is this book that celebrates friendship, competition, queer identity, and the insane things we do for the people we love. Quick rundown of the story. The Manhattan Mists have beaten the odds to land themselves in a national championship for Renegade Rule, one of the hottest virtual reality games in existence. But they're in for competition fiercer than they've ever imagined, and one team's members' entire future could be at stake. For 4 queer female friends have to play harder than anyone ever against self-doubt, infighting, romantic distraction, and a slew of other world-class teams if they hope to become champions. This is just a great book. I think it's championing stories that we should be telling. I'm excited that Dark Horse is telling these kind of stories or publishing these kind of stories. I'm just very excited for it in general. These are the kind of books that I read in my free time. So, yeah.
We're definitely expanding, both the creators that Dark Horse has been working with and the types of stories that we're telling and the age ranges too. A lot more young adult and younger reader titles coming into the mix as well. So I'm excited for this. We are starting to ramp up more previews and interviews and things like that for both Renegade Rule and Jenny Zero as they get a bit closer. So I wanted to make sure we reminded folks about both of these series. Jenny Zero is available for pre-order now. Brett, do you have any variant covers on that series or just the main covers?
Just the main covers for Jenny Zero at the moment. Okay. I'll say that's all I'll say for now.
Cool. Well, I mean, the art is incredible, and Magenta was sharing a lot of stuff on social media too. So Instagram in particular. See if we can ramp that back up soon. But Jenny Zero is going to be a fun one, and people have already kind of started comparing it to Jessica Jones a little bit. I don't know, how do you feel about that comparison?
I think that's fair. It's way more. Jessica Jones is like super gritty, like hard boiledy. It's not as much of that. It's that mixed with like classic kaiju stuff, I think. But I mean, if you're a fan of Alias or Jessica Jones, you'll like this book for sure. So
and then for Renegade Rule, that one is, again, a graphic novel, so not coming out in single issues first. So that one's available for pre-order, comic shops, bookstores. You can get the whole thing at once. If you like esports and colorful, like it's really colorful. Reminds me a little bit of our other series, Zodiac Star Force.
Yeah.
So I think this one's going to be really fun. And Ben Kahn also, we recently announced, is writing another young adult series for us set in the world of Immortals Phoenix Rising. So a lot of work coming out from Ben and this creative team. I'm excited to see this. This is kind of a launching point, I think, for Rachel. So pre-order this if you can, if you're interested, help support the book and the creators, and hopefully we'll get to do more with them in the future. But yeah, so both those new series are coming up. I know we've got some questions in the chat about that Avatar Chibi series. I can't really say more than what we have announced at this point, but we will continue to share more news and information as it comes along, as we get a little closer to the release date. So anything else that we have out in the world that we place, with press, any interviews we do with the creative team, we'll share those far and wide. Check them out on darkhorse.com and in our social media once they are out in the world, and we'll keep sharing information as we can. Let's see, what is next? Oh, we have, speaking of esports, we have had a few Overwatch announcements and also Cyberpunk 2077 announcements. So first, Overwatch. As you may know, we currently have an ongoing series with Overwatch with Blizzard, focusing on Tracer. It's called Tracer London Calling. It's by Babs Tarr and Mariko Tamaki with Rachel Cohen, and it's digital first, then print single issues are coming out. Actually, issue 4 is in print at comic shops this week, and I'll talk about that a bit more. But one of the things we just announced is that, yes, London Calling will be collected in a hardcover graphic novel. It's going to have a new cover, which we will reveal in the near future. And it's not quite done yet, but a new cover by Bengal, who has been doing the main covers for the series. And it's going to collect the entire 5-issue run in one hardcover volume. It's up for pre-order now. It'll be out this September, and you can get it from comic shops, bookstores, all the usual places, probably as well as the Blizzard gear store. So Tracer London Calling single issues still coming out in print right now. You can read the digital only versions at Dark Horse Digital. That's digital.darkhorse.com, and also Blizzard's website, and pre-order that collection now. We also announced an expanded edition of the Overwatch Anthology. The Overwatch Anthology, we have one edition out now that collects a lot of our previous Overwatch comics. There are many Overwatch miniseries that we did digitally, and then the Overwatch Anthology collected those in print. Now this new expanded edition will again have a new cover by Bengal. We will share that once it's finished as well, but you can pre-order the expanded edition now. It's going to include 50 plus more pages of comics, including 7 stories that were not in the first collection. And they feature all different characters. Don't worry, it's not just Tracer. It includes many of the different heroes of Overwatch, and it's going to include some other bonus material as well. So that's available for pre-order now at comic shops and bookstores. It'll be on sale in November, and it will retail for $25. Pretty good deal for quite a lot of content in a hardcover volume. So both the Overwatch Anthology Expanded Edition and Overwatch Tracer London Calling Collection are up for pre-order now. And in Cyberpunk news, we've had a lot of Cyberpunk products actually continuing to come out. The Trauma Team comics will be collected, and that'll be available actually later this month. As I mentioned earlier, we have had some shipping delays due to both the pandemic and the inclement weather lately, but it's scheduled to come out March 17th, comic shops, and March 30th at bookstores and other book retailers. So that'll be coming up later this week. It will collect the full 4-issue miniseries starring Nadia, who's a Trauma Team EMT. That series is by Cullen Bunn, Miguel Valderrama, and Jason Wordie. And I mean, the art for that series is just spectacular. Miguel did an amazing job. You might know his work from a previous Dark Horse series, Giants. So also, speaking of kaiju, that whole series is basically 2 brothers and their kaiju in sort of a post-apocalyptic scenario. So his work translated really well into the whole kind of cyberpunk vibe. And Cullen Bunn, of course, prolific writer. They did a fantastic job with that mini series. It was extremely popular. So if you missed out on it at comic shops, now you can get the collection coming soon. Pre-order it or look for it at your comic shop later this month. We also have several new figures joining our male V and Johnny Silverhand figures. Jackie Wells, female V, and Takamura are on the way. You can see images and more details of those on our website, darkhorse.com. Just search Cyberpunk, and you'll see a lot more than those figures. The next comic series is up now for pre-order at comic shops. It's called Cyberpunk 2077, You Have My Word. This one is going to be written by Bartosz Stybor. He's one of the writers at CD Projekt Red, so it's pretty cool. We've got him writing some of the comics now for both The Witcher and Cyberpunk, and he really has great insights into the characters and the worlds, of course, being involved with the games. So he's the writer on the new series, You Have My Word. Art in this one is by Jesus Hervas, and colors by Julia Brusco. Letters by Frank Kvetkovich, who does letters for a lot of our series, actually. And there will be a variant cover for that first issue by Mattia de Ulis. So those landed in the most recent previews catalog, which is the Diamond ordering catalog for retailers. So you'll probably see it kind of spreading around a little bit. It is officially, you can see it on our website as well, darkhorse.com, and you can pre-order it at comic shops today. Like I mentioned, a good thing to do if you want to make sure you get every issue of these series is to subscribe at your comic shop. So contact your local comic shop. Comicshoplocator.com can help you find some. Many do have websites like Forbidden Planet or Things from Another World, so you can do things that way too, in case you don't have one that is in your neighborhood per se. But yeah, subscribe and make sure you get every issue of those. And it also helps us know how many to make so that we can fill all your orders. So pre-order Cyberpunk 2077, You Have My Word up now. We also have, I just had to include this in the stuff we're going to show you today, the art for this new puzzle, I think is really cool. It's for the Night City Gang Tiger Claws, Tiger with a Y, because of course. They are recognizable by their luminous tattoos, fast street bikes, katanas, and tantos. So you see all of those things in this artwork of our new Cyberpunk 2077 puzzle. This is like the 4th or 5th Cyberpunk puzzle we've done, which is just another cool way to get some of the cool art from Cyberpunk. So if you like puzzles or if you just like this art, there you go. I had to include it. Brett, have you been playing Cyberpunk?
I have not, which I'll explain in a second later, but there's another game I've been very, very slowly making my way through. So, but it's like, I'm ready for it. I know it's going to like consume my life. So
I know. Yeah.
Like, holding back a little bit for that too, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of same. I was going to get it for my PC and I haven't yet. Cause I mean, I also am still making my way through other games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
that is the game that I was talking about. So
yeah. Have you gotten the Fox yet?
Yeah, I've played through pretty much the whole game.
Okay. I'm a completionist. I take forever. I do absolutely everything. So you're probably harder than me.
That's where I'm at right now, as I'm doing all of the like things that I just like the side stuff I just missed. And going a little insane. Stacking rocks is not my forte.
No, it's way harder than it should be. The controls for those are a pain. Yeah. Cairns. Actually, I hadn't played in a little while and I played the other night and I like randomly found one of those and yeah. It's the first one I have done where I did not use every single rock. So to get to the required height. So congrats to me. Some of my favorite things about disclosure, Dark Horse also does comics and art books for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which Brett also worked on the art book for. Yeah, the pets, I make sure that I pet lots of dogs.
Yeah,
I pet lots of cats. I have achieved hairless horse in my stable. He's like permanent now, I guess. One of my horses is forever hairless. I have the wolf.
Yep.
I named him Chewy of the options. What did you name yours?
Man, I cannot remember. He says it every time I go back to the.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill me now.
I play female Eivor because why not? And she always says, "Look at you, Chewy."
I feel like the guy I have the male character and he's very reserved all the time. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can switch back and forth if you want to. I haven't done that yet.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I ended up randomly finding the little fox who can follow you around too. And then it took a while to appear. I was sad. I didn't know if the fox would actually follow me, but then he showed back up in my village, so all is well. Assassin's Creed is my current game, but yeah, Cyberpunk is on my list to get into next. And actually, I started playing with some other comics folks. We're about to start anyway, the tabletop RPG Cyberpunk, which Cyberpunk, the video game is based on, of course. And so I created actually a med tech character, kind of inspired by the Cyberpunk Trauma Team comics, in fact. So I'll let you know how it goes. If I die, I have a backup who is a nomad. So we'll find out. Questions in the chat. No, like I was running through, if you missed it earlier, the creative team on the next series is a different creative team than Trauma Team. The Trauma Team did a great job, but we just mixed it up with these licensed comics, especially quite a bit. So that one is Bartosz Stybor is the writer. He's one of the CD Projekt writers, and Jesus Hervas is the main artist on the new series. So it's going to be really beautiful. You can already see from the cover art, very much in that cyberpunk aesthetic. So hopefully you all like it as much as you liked Trauma Team. A different story, different characters set in the cyberpunk world. And we're excited to add that to our ever-growing lineup of cool cyberpunk products and stories for you all. We also have a lot of new Witcher stuff coming up, so stay tuned. Check out our website for all the latest, and we'll keep bringing them up when we got something new on these streams too. That's plenty for announcements and news, I say. So, Brett, what do we have for people right now?
Yes. So we're talking about sales. We're gonna go talk about digital
sales. We got digital sales.
Digital sales. Sorry, I had a lot of things going on in my head. So we have a video game sale going on in our digital store. You save 50% on all video game comics, art, and lore books. We have art and lore books from Cyberpunk, Overwatch, Zelda, Assassin's Creed, Cuphead, Guild Wars, and Gears 4. And so many others. Just so many others. And all this sale also has any video game comics you might have missed, Cuphead comics, like we mentioned, Cyberpunk comics, Assassin's Creed comics, and I'm gonna butcher this. I'm sorry. Danganronpa manga volumes. I know they're super popular. I know everyone's mad at me now. So, but they're all available, 50% off. So yeah.
it was close. It was a good attempt. Yeah, Danganronpa is one of our most popular manga series, actually. So
I know it's good, and I know I just should know things, but I'm
some
sorry.
things are hard to say. It's okay. You know, tongue twister. Yeah. You might have noticed we do a lot of video game art books and comics. So yeah, this digital sale is huge. There's like 16 pages of things for you to look at. So make sure you browse them all. And this image that you see now is from Cyberpunk 2077 Trauma Team. But yeah, there's tons of good stuff. It's a great time to get an art book, especially, and save a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you are interested. We have another digital sale happening right now as well at the same time because it is in honor of Women's History Month this month. So it is a Women in Comics digital sale. You can save on all of our comics and graphic novels. The one that you see in this image is from Isabelle, which is one of my favorite international comics that Dark Horse publishes. It is originally done by Spanish creators, and it follows this woman who is a bounty hunter, haunted by the ghost of her father and trying to get back to her sister in sort of a feudal Japan setting. And it's a fantastic series. But so this digital sale on Women in Comics includes both stories featuring strong women protagonists and also creative teams that feature women in comics. So we have lots of amazing creators on this sale, including Gail Simone, Faith Erin Hicks, Erica Alexander, G. Willow Wilson, Nnedi Okorafor, Irene Coe, Ann Innocenti, and so many more of the amazing women creators that we get to work with. So other titles will include, of course, Legend of Korra, Invisible Kingdom, Ruby Falls, LaGuardia, which won Eisners and Hugos in this last year. So check out some new things, maybe new to you, or get caught up on series if you're missing any issues. But digital sales are a great time to complete your collections and try some new things. So all of these are at digital.darkhorse.com. And also just a reminder that all of our digital sales are mirrored at other digital comic sites like Comixology, Isneo, and any other apps that you prefer to use. So the savings are available there too. And that is the last for our news, announcements, and digital sales and all that. Now we're going to get into the physical new releases. Take it away, Brett, with your new #1 issue.
Yes, so everyone strap in because I'm going to probably bore you now. But so Dead Dog's Bite #1 comes out today. Here are the books. It's from cartoonist Tyler Boss, who is incredible. And there's a variant cover. I'm holding it up right now from Ian Bertram, who you might know from Little Bird, I think it was called, the Image book that was real good. So instead of reading a full rundown, I'm going to do this real quick. A character, Cormac Guffin, has gone missing, and her friend Joe is trying to find out what happened to her. So the like tagline, I guess, for this book is Twin Peaks meets Ladybird. So let me explain a little bit because that's super vague.
Yes, it is.
The book takes place in a town called Pender Mills, which has that like uneasy Lynchian feeling about it. Like there's just like there's something wrong kind of with everything happening. Everyone's always uneasy, but it's also super tongue in cheek, like a lot of Ladybird is. And Joe and Cormac are teenagers, so there's a little bit of that kind of play happening. So there are a few things that I really want to talk about on this book. So first, Tyler, like we saw with 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, is like a master at formalist stuff in comics. Kind of what he does on his page layouts and breaking the fourth wall kind of within the story. There's a narrator in the first couple pages that is like kind of explaining what's happening, but not really. Is super unique in single issues, especially. It's a lot. That's something normally I think we see in OGNs and that kind of stuff. So Tyler, kind of pushing the boundaries on that was really cool to see. But also, I know Matthew Rosenberg said this a little earlier today, so I want to give him some credit. I'm not trying to steal his thunder here a little bit, but a little bit because I'm reading a book called Why Comics by Hilary Shute, who's a comic scholar. Tyler does a lot of things that are similar to Dan Klaus and Charles Burns and like the weirdness of suburbia. So like if you know Ghost World or something like that, it's just like everyone's kind of like the like normalness of the 50s, like the super ultra white breadness of the 50s. Like there's something uneasy under the surface, and Tyler like really nails that in this series. Yeah, it's incredible. It's so good. I've been super excited for this to come out. It was supposed to come out last April, And then COVID destroyed us all. So now it's coming out now. So you'll definitely want to get this. It's a 4-issue series. It's incredible. It's one of the best books I've ever worked on for sure.
High praise indeed. I'm just glad that, COVID really did throw a huge wrench in the works, especially for single issues, but just for scheduling books, producing books all across the board. I don't think, people at home necessarily will ever understand all of the different parts of this, normally well-oiled machine that were affected by the pandemic. And so it really kind of brought things to a screeching halt for a bit, especially when nobody knew for sure, how long it was going to take to recover or if we would. So I'm really glad that this series made it back and was rescheduled, and we're still pulling it out in single issues too. And I'm curious how, so we have some really stellar variant cover artists for this series.
Yes.
Can you tell us more, like, how did this particular one, how did Ian Bertram get on this list for cover art?
So it's a little bit behind the scenes, I think, for most people, but most of these artists, Tyler either reached out himself or are friends with Tyler. Like, I know Ian and Tyler, Tyler moved to Buffalo, but they both were in Brooklyn for a while. I don't know if they worked in the same studio or like very close to each other. So they had a relationship before. And I think when we started working on the book, Ian's name was like, that was happening kind of like he was just going to do a variant. And it's similar. I think we've announced all the variants now, so I just don't want to like say something that hasn't been announced, but
I'll triple check, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all up.
It's all like Tyler, all these great artists are friends with each other is basically the answer. So Tom Riley is doing one, Philip Sevy, and oh god, one is just completely blanking on my head, and Josh Hickson, and so they're all great. It's like a Murderer's Row variant covers, and Tyler's covers are also incredible. So you literally cannot lose.
Honestly, if you mentioned Twin Peaks, you pretty much have my interest. So I've been eagerly anticipating this also because of this design, which I assume the logo design and everything is also Tyler, because it reminds me, of course, of There Will Be Blood.
Yes.
A movie that I quite enjoy.
So yeah, Tyler, on top of being an incredible cartoonist, also is a really good designer. He designed most of the trade dress and stuff with some of our Dark Horse design team as well. And it doesn't hurt that There Will Be Blood is one of my favorite movies, or it was. I haven't seen it in like a decade now, but
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Back on Netflix because it keeps popping up.
For sure. I think you could like if you read the Horsepower that Tyler wrote, I think it's in this month's issues actually. A lot of it is mostly about Judy Garland.
Oh yes, yeah. I read that.
So there is a nice film tie-in as well. Tyler just knows his stuff. So
yeah, the design on this comic is beautiful, and I really hope people check it out and give it a try. It reminds me also a little bit of our recent release, Black Hammer Visions #1, just in terms of style and storytelling.
Yeah.
Because that issue, of course, is very reminiscent of Ghost World. And
right.
Yeah, just the art style and the formalism and the panel layouts and everything. It all kind of harkens back to that style for me, and it's one that I enjoy. It may not be for everyone, but I hope people do give it a chance.
Yes. And I did want to mention, because it's the code word, or I forget exactly what it's called.
Yes, tell us.
So in like one of the first scenes of the book, when Joe is buying some milk and picking up a prescription, the pharmacist has broken his wrist, I want to say. Now I'm blanking. And he keeps referring to his hands as like different words, and one of the times he's like, "Oh, my flim flams." So
Perfect. So that's why Flim Flams is our giveaway keyword. What do you win in the giveaway? It's a copy of all of our single issues that we're going to talk about today. So Dead Dog's Bite, issue number 1, and a couple of others, which wow, we've already talked so much about our news and so forth that we are almost at 1 p.m. So let's talk about our other new releases as well. This issue number 1, though, again, new release, beginning of a new series, creator owned by Tyler Boss. So check it out at comic shops today. And we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett, for bringing it into the world.
Yes. Go Bills. That's for Tyler. Go Bills. So
I saw Tyler's anxious tweet thread at like midnight when this was officially released, and he's very grateful to you, Brett, and to everyone who helped work on this series, and it's very, very sweet. But yeah, Tyler's fantastic. Check out his work. Support creators and their creator-owned comics.
Yes.
Also new this week, we have a wide variety. Like I said, some things have moved around a bit due to those shipping delays, but next up in single issues, we also have a new Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. Avatar The Next Shadow, number 3, is out this week. You may have seen, we did a stream a few weeks ago now with some of the folks who work on these Avatar comics, including Josh Izzo, who works for Lightstorm Entertainment, which means he works very closely with James Cameron, or Jim, as he calls him. I'm not on a first name basis with him, so like I feel weird calling him Jim, but that's what he calls him. So Jim. So yes, they are canon. They are, this new series, The Next Shadow, is a continuation directly of that first Avatar film. So issue number 1 picked up essentially right where the film left off, and Jake Sully has become the leader of the Omaticaya. But as you would expect, not everybody trusts him or is into him being their leader. So there is some infighting. And by the time we get to this new issue, number 3 of 4, Jake Sully has been defeated in trial by combat. It wasn't maybe fair, but it did happen. And a new leader has been declared. Traditions are betrayed and further the divide between members of the Omaticaya. With poison running through Jake's veins, fear and pains of the past manifest as he comes face to face with a familiar foe. So this is by Jeremy Barlow, Josh Hood, and Wes Zioba. And as I mentioned, it's in close partnership with James Cameron's team. So it is canon. And the artist, Jeremy Barlow, the writer, and Josh Hood, the artist, joined us on that stream I mentioned. And they talk in quite a lot of depth about, bringing this rich world that James Cameron and his team have developed for the films into comics, and making sure that everything is as accurate as possible and as true to the films as possible. And we're excited to be able to help continue to tell these new and original stories as we wait for the next films. So if you want to watch that previous stream we did with the creative team, that's up on our YouTube now, and you can still watch the highlights here on our Twitch channel as well. So we are Dark Horse Comics on YouTube, as everywhere. And yeah, you can find that previous stream and get yourself caught up. Like I said, this is issue number 3, so you have 2 previous issues if you have not been following along. But I won't say any more. I don't want to spoil too much in case not everybody has read these, but the comic series is definitely going to appeal to fans of those Avatar films, and will lead into what will come next. So now I'm going to give it back to Brett to tell you about another new book this week.
Yeah, so the Art of Supercell. Supercell, you might know of Clash of Clans, Heyday, Boom Beach, Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, naming all the games. Make sure I get all of them out there. Mobile game company. This is their 10th anniversary art book, chronological look at their company's history. It's like as deep a dive as possible into all of the development and art of their games. Chronicling everything from Heyday through today, which would be Clash Royale. Sorry, completely off the top of my head. As well, one of my favorite things about this book and working on this book was taking a look at the games that didn't necessarily see the light of day. All that behind the scenes stuff is always super interesting. some of their early games that almost happened or would have been kind of wild for what a company that they ended up being. But it's a lot of fun. I think a lot of this art is super unique, and you don't typically see it at this scale because they're mobile games. So that's also pretty cool. Yeah.
This book was kind of a long time in the making.
Yeah.
Was that affected by the pandemic quite a bit, or?
So this book had an interesting journey, I guess, to where it is now. Because originally it was a book that we made for Supercell for like their own employees. And everyone liked it so much we made it a publicly available version of the book. So which is the same interiors, but some other stuff I'm not going to get into for the stuff the book you can't buy. But yeah, we have been working on it for quite a while. But that's just because of the different method that it took to get to where we are now. Not working with them has been great. No hiccups or anything like that. And thankfully, there might have been some delays due to COVID, but it's been pretty smooth in general.
I mean, I will add all of these art books are so incredibly detailed. They are so absolutely chock full of different art pieces and commentary and just everything that goes into our beautiful, like truly well-produced art books. I mean, they all take time to produce. They take a great deal of time and effort to put together. So not saying that this is unique in any way. But
yeah,
I know we've all been talking about it for quite some time, and that makes sense that it kind of evolved from maybe a smaller scale project into a bigger one over time.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I think it was unique in we kind of designed the entire book and then started the process of getting it out into like the greater market. So it did take longer than normal just because there are processes that have to happen. But
yeah.
And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's because we designed the book so a decent amount of time ago that it's kind of my memory's going blank. It's been quite a year. So yeah.
A year, a week, a month. Yeah. Yeah, this one is especially full of art. Like it's very art forward.
Definitely. Yeah. That you do get some interesting like behind the scenes tidbits there in captions. And like I think really interesting overviews of the development of each game. Like you can see the one for Brawl Stars here. But yeah, this is absolutely art forward. And I think a big selling point for the Supercell team was that you get to see the art at a size, like I said before, that you haven't before. So yeah.
Yeah, it is really cool to get to see it not on a small mobile screen. Supercell, they're really excited about this too. So you'll see them starting to shout it from the rooftops today. We love partnering them with them. We love working with them. So we appreciate their support of this book too. So thanks, guys. So yeah, this is available. This also, of course, has been affected by those shipping delays somewhat. So keep checking back if you haven't yet received your copy, if you pre-ordered it. As with all our books, this should be available internationally too, worldwide in English, but especially international shipping has been delayed this year. So be patient. We appreciate your patience. And yeah, it's available starting this week, and it will be available more widely throughout the month as shipping gets caught up. So stay tuned, and we'll keep talking it up. Check our website and social media for more information, as well as Supercells. So also new this week, we have another single issue. This one, we're going to do kind of a 180. We're back to a horror title with Fear Case number 2. We had the trailer at the beginning of the stream today. Fear Case number 1 was out last month and introduced you to the latest from Matt Kindt. This is kind of Matt Kindt Day, informally, because he has many comics out today. Fear Case is the Dark Horse series, but he's also got some other series debuting today, like Berserker with Keanu Reeves. That's cool, I guess. But also, you should be reading Fear Case, which is his we have 2 series actually right now by Matt Kint. Fear Case is one and Crimson Flower is the other. So a lot of Matt Kint news all the time right now. We've published a lot of Matt Kint's previous work. I actually talked about that more with Dan Shaban on our stream last week, who is the editor on these series. Matt Kint, of course, is also with Dark Horse done Mind Management. And one of my favorites is Department H, for example. So he's got a lot of previous comics. If you're a Matt Kint fan, you know. Bang is another one that came out in 2020. So they all kind of tie together in interesting ways, and Fear Case is no exception. This is a new original story that is his first foray into more true horror, I would say. I love horror comics, so this is definitely my jam. In issue number 2, after witnessing a bizarre murder party in a suburban swimming pool, federal agents Winters and Mitchum continue their hunt for the mysterious horror box known as the Fear Case that plagues whoever foolishly decides to open it. This series is written by Matt Kint, with art by Tyler Jenkins and Hillary Jenkins, who are the same team who did the comic series Grass Kings, for example. The variant cover for this issue is by Lawrence Campbell. It's amazing. All of the variant covers for this series are amazing. I love Lawrence Campbell's art, though, just in general, and he's a perfect fit for this kind of horror series, I think. Either or both, collect them all, I say, but I love the designs too on the main covers by Tyler and Hillary. So all very worth getting. You will see, like I mentioned, some little tie-ins to some other Matt Kint series, notably Bang. There are lots of little tidbits sprinkled throughout in the art and in the dialogue if you pay close attention, which you should always do when reading Matt Kint, to be perfectly honest with you. This series reminds me a bit, and I agree with this comparison, which I've now seen on some reviews. It's a bit like an X-Files episode. You've got kind of a Mulder and Scully pairing. You've got the like serious, in this case, longer term agent partnered with a younger, more willing to believe in the supernatural agent. And so that sets up kind of an interesting foil as they deal with this case that just gets bizarre. And it's been compared to The Ring meets True Detective. So all of those things are to help you decide if this series is for you.
Yes. I want to believe.
Right. So I'm really enjoying Fear Case so far. I hope you are too. Or if you haven't checked it out yet, give it a try at your local comic shop.
So the next installment in our partnership with Comixology Originals, I could speak, Breaklands Volume 1, from writer Justin Jordan, creator of Luther Strode, Spread, and Reaver, along with newcomer artist Taisa Sita, hopefully I got that right, colorist Sarah Stern, and letter Rachel Deering. This is a story set in the future. Everyone has powers, kind of ranging the gamut of like massive world-breaking powers and just a little more mundane. And then you need them to survive in this new age. Everyone except for Kaja Fane, which we discover is a problem when her little brother, who has the power to reshape the world, one of them, as it would be in Marvel, an Omega level mutant, he is kidnapped, and the people have bad plans for her little brother. This is Mad Max Meets Akira. And this series collects Breaklands 1 through 5, which was a digital comic on Comixology, collected in print for the first time. Yeah.
Whoa, if you hear weird sounds, my cat is real excited right now. Sorry.
He just loves Breaklands.
He's really excited about Breaklands. He is running around the house right now to celebrate the release of Breaklands. I also I'm excited for this comic. It's right up my alley in terms of like the fantasy kind of bent to it. So as Brett said, this is part of our ongoing Comixology Originals partnership. This will be the first time it's in print. So this collects the first few issues in a volume 1, and I hope that we get to do lots more. But yeah, so this is just the latest in the ongoing Comixology print releases, which I think bring a lot more great variety of both stories and creators to the Dark Horse lineup. So I'm excited to welcome all of these and to get to work with some of these creators and share their books. This is another one that, as I keep saying, there have been some shipping delays, so keep checking in with your comic shops. They may get it a bit later, but it is on the way. Bookstores also may have it available now. Technically, it came out on Tuesday this week, so you may have already gotten pre-orders too if you pre-ordered from bookstores online. We also have a book that might interest those Mike Mignola fans. So more Mignola news. We have the Mike Mignola Quarantine Sketchbook now available. If you were on the internet basically in 2020, you probably saw some of these sketches that Mike was doing to kind of entertain himself at first during the lockdown. And then as they sort of gained interest of people, he began auctioning off the original artwork to raise money for the charity Chef Jose Andres World Central Kitchen. This charity was suggested by Christine, Mike's wife, and they developed quite a friendship and partnership, I think. So Mike continued to share his sketches online and to auction them all off, helping to raise money for World Central Kitchen throughout the year. We were able to collect all of these sketches in a book in print so that you yourself can own all of these brilliant pieces of art yourself. We're not sharing a lot of the interiors because we have to be pretty careful. A lot of the sketches are from licensed mascots and so forth, like characters that Dark Horse does not own the rights to. So that's why we have to be, again, fairly limited and careful about sharing interiors. But these included like Snap, Crackle, Pop, for example, were some of the first ones that I think Mike did. There's like Gothic vegetables, there's Pokemon characters, but like in Mike's creepy style. So if you've ever wanted to see like creepy Bulbasaur, I mean, there you go. Let's see what else. There were some vampires. There's giant robot Hellboy, which
I mean, you want to get this book because Mike drew SpongeBob, the greatest character of our generation. So I think that's reason enough.
Yeah. Mike Mignola's take on SpongeBob and like other characters from SpongeBob are both terrifying and amazing. So it's worth it for those alone. I think I also did really like the Gothic vegetables. Like, yeah. I would be hard pressed to pick a favorite. I think there were like some Ninja Turtles in there, quite a variety. Every week he would release more, many different takes on Hellboy, many different takes on Abe Sapien. Other artists got involved and started coloring, over Mike's inks. So it was a lot of fun and just for a great cause. All profits from sales of this book will also go to Jose Andres World Central Kitchen. So it also goes to charity in the end. We are already reprinting it. So if you're waiting on your pre-orders, don't worry, more are on the way. Again, everything's kind of affected by those shipping delays, so your patience is appreciated. But the Mike Mignola Quarantine Sketchbook is available starting this week and will continue to roll out throughout this month. Check it out. You definitely want to own this amazing piece of pandemic and Mike Mignola history. And crazy Mignola art of every character you've dreamed of. And Rex showed up just in time. So here's Rex.
There he is, the lad.
The lad himself.
Just for Rex, let's talk about ElfQuest Stargazers Hunt. The trade paperback comes out this week. So at the end of ElfQuest, the final quest, we kind of concluded Cutter's Kinseeker's story, who was chief of the Wolf Riders. As readers of ElfQuest know, I'm just kind of
recap.
But this new story follows Cutter's close friend Skywise, who thought he knew everything about Cutter, but he was mistaken. And you'll find out why in this series. This volume collects numbers 1 through 4 of Stargazers Hunt, from the co-creators of ElfQuest, Wendy and Richard Peeney. The story and layouts by Wendy Peeney, and ElfQuest alum Sonny Strait returns as the artist and colorist for this. And Roger has decided to join us.
Yes.
So
Dark Horse Pets.
exactly.
ElfQuest.
And I mean, ElfQuest started the indie boom in the 70s and into the 80s. So it's an extremely important comic, and it's great that we are still doing new ElfQuest stories today. So yeah.
I know this has been delayed quite a bit by the pandemic. Sorry to all the ElfQuest fans out there. Unfortunately, it was unavoidable with all those single issue delays, but we're happy to be able to bring this collection out now. And we have also mentioned there will be another collection, continuing this Stargazers Hunt series, which of course stars Jinx, a new character. So yeah, thanks for your patience, and we hope you enjoy this new trade paperback collection to continue the ElfQuest. Sorry, Rex is distracting me. Continue the ElfQuest journey for you all. I have just drawn a winner in our giveaway also, who will receive copies of all the single issues we discussed today. I might be able to throw in some graphic novels too, so you'll find out and get a nice surprise if I can. Congrats to Quincy Forder, QUINCEYFORDER. That'll be announced in the chat. All you need to do to claim is send us a private message here on Twitch, and we will reply to you to let you know how to claim, and send us your shipping info, and we'll get all that sorted out for you. So congrats, Quincy Forder, on winning our giveaway. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Rex thanks you as well. And that's it for our new releases. Keep checking back. If you're waiting on something, again, we have had some shipping delays due to the winter weather. I know I keep harping on that, but it's a constantly changing thing. So I wish I could give you more concrete information, but we're doing our best. Single issues, though, are definitely in comic shops, and you can get them all now. This VOD will be available on our YouTube later this week, and so you can watch the whole stream once again on our YouTube channel, and it will stay up here on our Twitch channel for a while as well. We'll be back next week on Wednesday with our next new comic book day, and we'll have some more guests coming up soon. We'll announce those when we can, so check back, and we'll have some more fun streams for you coming up. Thank you, Brett, for joining me to talk about especially Dead Dog's Bite today.
Yes, my favorite. Yes, of course.
Flim Flam.
And the Flim Flams.
Brett will hopefully join us again soon, because Mr. Editor on a lot of our creator-owned as well as video game art books. So
just every book, all
the books. You and Dan, and yeah, that's yeah. Well, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, and happy Wednesday, and we will see you next week. We'll sign off.
Who are you?
I'm Harry Vanderspiegel. I'm a doctor. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm not an alien.
All right, look, that's one creepy son of a bitch, right?
It's okay for people to be a little bit different sometimes.
This is some bullshit.